Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to welcome you or wish you a happy Monday. Today was a really good day for the stock market already. We had a lot of really good news, and those of you who are investing, you're going to find that you probably made some money today. If you followed any of the rules that we've talked about on the rules of healthy investing, then you've probably done pretty well. You're probably noticing that already this morning. So, we're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am a black man. And after being a black man, I'm also a finance PhD. And so I love the stock market. I love investing. I love building black wealth. And I love talking about the stock market investing as a key for wealth in the black community. I'm also black first. That means hashtag B1. Put your hashtag B1 in the chat if you agree, if you are black first. Good morning, Dennis and Turtle Island and El Haj. I always see you in there, brother. Good to see you. Felicia Bird, good morning, good morning, good morning. And so let's get it started, guys. I mean, it's really exciting. How many of you, give me a yes or no, give me a yes or no in the chat. How many of you have noticed the explosion happening in the stock market right now? How many of you have noticed what's been going on this morning with the market? If you haven't noticed, in case your head's under a rock, today is a good day. As my man Ice Cube used to say, today is a good day. Today will be a good day. And yesterday was a good day. And you know what? The day before that was a good day. And the day before that was a good day. In fact, every day, damn near every year has been a good year when it comes to stock market investing because the market's been on a tear since about 2009, since Obama got elected. You know, we didn't necessarily get all the hope and change we were looking for, but we definitely got a great stock market where it was literally making money. It was literally like shooting fish in a barrel. So I guarantee you that any of you, and give me a yes in the chat if you've been investing for a few years. I bet you that any of you in here who's been investing for a few years and you've been following the basic rules of diversification, and you've made money. Your income has gone up. Your family wealth has gone up. Some of you are balling. Some of you are probably worth $100,000 or more. Some of you maybe are millionaires. And I see you and I meet you in the street, every city I go to. I was in Atlanta this weekend. I bumped into a lot of people on the street who are making major financial moves for their family. And this is not our reparations. This is our real reparations. Our real reparations where we are really making a difference. We're really moving the needle. We're not just talking about it. We are about it, and we're going to continue to be about it. So let me explain what's going on. Basically, the whole story of the market recently has been the vaccine. It's been all about the vaccine. It's all about COVID. It's all about, whether the economy is going to be open or shut, whether we're going to live or die, whether the hospitals are going to get overwhelmed or not. What's really fascinating is that, I heard from a friend of mine who's a doctor, Dr. Lakin Hatimi. And Lakim hit me up because he's on the front lines of the COVID fight. I've known him since he was a medical student at the University of Kentucky. And now he's a doctor that runs his own clinic. And Dr. Hatimi, who's not black, he's not B1, he's not a black man, but he's a good man, and he's fought for black people, and that's why I respect him. So Dr. Hatimi was telling me about how some of the companies that actually make the COVID testing kits were extorting doctors by forcing them to sign up for all these expensive flu shots that they didn't actually want just to get access to the COVID, the rapid testing machines. We talked about what it's like to be on the front lines. He talked about what's going on with his patients, and this is real, right? This whole situation is very real, and the numbers are going up. When we don't know if it's because there's more testing or if because the virus has actually gotten out of control, but either way, it's out there and it's happening. And and the big economic indicator is focused on whether or not people are going to be able to get their jobs back, whether or not people are going to be able to go out and start shopping around the Christmas holidays and things like that. And so what's interesting, though, is that the stock market, for some odd reason, is almost ignoring all of that. Um, I think the mindset of many investors and the mindset of the market in general is we don't really care if there's a problem as long as you tell me there's a solution on the way, right? Like I don't care if I'm hungry right now, as long as I know you got food that's coming by in the food truck. So whatever problem I'm having now, this too shall pass because I'm not just looking at the problem, I'm looking at the solution. And that's a standard thing with the stock market. Remember, I've always explained to you guys that wealth builders tend to have what I call OPP. The Black Business School, that's one of our models, the OPP model, which stands for opportunity, patience, and perspective. And that second P, perspective, kind of means that the stock market is not based on what's happening right now. The stock market is based on what's happening now, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next year, what's going to happen 5 years from now, what's going to happen 10 years from now. And the things that are going to happen 5 or 10 years from now are more important in many cases than what's happening right now. This is just a moment in time, a flash in time. This is not the next decade. So, based on the fact that all these companies are right now making money hand over fist, I mean, many of them are doing really well in the digital economy. There's also the understanding and expectation that these companies are going to do extremely well over the next decade. Disney is one great example. Disney is a company that got hammered by COVID in every way imaginable. Disney makes most of its money from live sports, from shooting movies on set, and from their theme parks. That's where they were making the bulk of their cash. All of those things, all three of those things, got shut down. But Disney pivoted. Disney started focusing on their streaming service, and now they have 75 million, I believe, 75 million paid subscribers on their streaming service, Disney Plus, which is pretty powerful because that makes them they're almost half of what Netflix is, which is pretty impressive. So now when the market opens up, when life opens up, when you can go back to Disneyland and go to a baseball game or a basketball game or whatever, Disney's going to start making money from the left hand and the right hand. So it's like a basketball analogy. If you only dribble with your right hand and then your right arm gets broken, you're forced to learn how to dribble with your left hand. So that means when your right hand heals, you're going to be a better basketball player. When your right hand gets better, you're going to be able to use both hands. You're going to be able to have handles in both directions and be able to be a scoring machine. So Disney's a money machine, right? So companies like Disney are going to come out of this just killing the game. I mean, I don't know how close Disney is to being $1 trillion company. For all I know, they might be there. I have to go look up the market value. But if they're not there now, they're gonna get there. I have no doubt about that. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, and subscribe button. Shout out what city you're from. Let me know what city you guys are coming from. I always like to know what cities you guys are from. And just a reminder, I don't know if you guys know, we have at blackmovienight.net. You can actually sign up to come to the screening of our new film called Happy. I'm an executive producer on the film. It was directed by Taki Grant, and it features a lot of scholars, etc., who explain and show you how most modern economic systems, even those used by white people, actually derived in ancient Africa. They started in Egypt, right there on the Nile, in Kemet, in Kush, and all parts of Africa. And the film is shot all throughout the world. It took years to do this project. This is a great movie, and it's better than Disney's Black Panther. I know everybody spent $1 billion going to see the Black Panther, which was created by Disney, and they made all the money, and they made up Wakanda. Wakanda wasn't real. This is real. Kemet was real. Kush was real. Egypt was real. So let's not just get obsessed with the fake. Let's also focus on the real. We really are real life superheroes, and this film celebrates that. So if you'd like to get tickets to the premiere or to the screening, go to blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. Also, don't forget to text the word "voice" to 31996 right there on the ticker, so that you can get notifications when I go live. Okay, so here's more specifically of what's going on in the market. Basically, Moderna, they released their experimental coronavirus vaccine, which was proven to be 94.5% effective at protecting people from COVID, which is the best yet. I think that's better than Pfizer's vaccine. This led to a big jump in a lot of the companies that benefit from the reopening. Airlines, cruise ships, casinos in particular, hotels, things like that. I haven't looked at Disney, but I'm willing to bet you Disney had a pop. Just all these companies are just skyrocketing. And I'll tell you, I'm a little bit mad. I bought some American Airlines stock, a ton of it, and I sold the calls. I sold some call options because I like the guaranteed money. I don't like to necessarily take risk. I take a little bit of risk, but I don't like to speculate with my money. So rather than buying a bunch of options, I sell options. That's what I like to do. And so I sold a lot of the call options, which means I got my guaranteed return. But now I'm looking at it and watching the stock just take off. And I know my options are going to get called and they're going to take my stock at a lower price. But it doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter, right? That means instead of making $10, as a profit. Maybe you get $4, but your four was guaranteed, right? So I like the guaranteed money, so I don't regret it. I like to minimize risk, but and get a piece of the upside. I don't need to get all the upside. Investing doesn't have to be a greedy endeavor, but I'll tell you what, if you own any of those companies, you're probably going to do really well. Give me a yes or no if you own any of the companies that are benefiting from this recovery. It might be maybe you own a pharmaceutical company, maybe you own Pfizer, maybe you own Moderna. If you recall, Pfizer and Moderna, I'm not making this up. Go back. If you go back to what I was talking to you guys about who are in the Black Stock Market program, I mentioned Pfizer and Moderna as two companies that the analysts were saying you want to jump into. We talked about that. We talked about Pfizer. We talked about Moderna way before they took off. Way before they took off. A lot of these companies that are doing really well, we talked about them well before they took off. So a lot of this stuff that's really interesting. The interesting thing about a market like this is that in the midst of chaos, there's typically opportunity. When there's chaos and everybody's scared and overreacting and selling their assets cheap, a lot of cool, calm, collected people are kind of going through the numbers, and they'll see a stock take a major hit, and they'll say, "Wait, this stock is actually a good stock." It's like going through the jail, and they locked up everybody. You know how they do with us black men; they just lock up everybody, the good and the bad. And it's like going through, and you're like, "Wait, no, that's that kid. That kid is not a bad kid. Like he's actually got a lot of potential. Let's do something with him, right?" But now you might be like, "Okay, that kid over there, we need to work on him for a little while. You don't let him out just yet. We need to deal with him. But this kid over here, he could go to college. He could be a professor. He's brilliant. He might be slinging dope, but let's teach him a different skill." So a lot of stocks are the same way. Sometimes all the stocks get punished when the whole market panics and freaks out, and then suddenly the prices of all the companies go down. All the companies get convicted, even though some of them are like, "No, we're not a bad company. We're still making money. We can make money even with COVID." And so some of these stay-at-home plays, I Zoom being kind of the poster child of the stay-at-home stocks that did really well. These stocks took off during COVID. Now these stocks are cooling off. They're cooling off because now the rest of the world is starting to open up. And there is an argument to say that some of these stay-at-home plays were actually overvalued. That when you look at things like what they call the price earnings ratio, which allows you to measure, whether a stock is overvalued possibly, or at the very least, you're paying a lot for potential as opposed to reality. A lot of these stay-at-home stocks were considered to be somewhat overvalued. Now, here's the thing. So right now, the big story is obviously the vaccine. The market is not reacting at all to the new COVID cases. They're just not. They're like, okay, a vaccine's coming. It is what it is. I saw something today which said that I think Ticketmaster said this is really fascinating. I don't know what you guys think about this, but Ticketmaster literally said that if you do not have if you don't have proof that you got vaccinated, then you cannot come to a concert. Like they literally are going to ban you from concerts if you don't prove that you've been vaccinated. So they're doing a lot of things to really force the vaccine. They're probably going to have it mandatory at some point, and I'm not going to get it because I don't have to. I don't work for white people or anybody, so I'm going to be at home, and I don't have to have. My woman told me I don't have to have a vaccine in order to be in my house. So those of you who are lucky enough to be educating your own children, or at home creating your own job, you won't have to do it. But I'm willing to bet you that in almost every aspect of life, whether it's going to work or participating in certain events, they're going to start requiring the vaccine. I don't see any way around it, and it's not that I wouldn't ever do it. I just don't want to be one of the first. They always anybody notice that how they got these black folks that are being paid to tell black people to go get the vaccine first. Like, we need black people to be in these trials. I don't trust that because I know that these people are being paid to say these things, and they tend to put us out there as the guinea pigs, and I don't want to be a guinea pig. But it doesn't mean that if like I don't want to be one of the first people to take the vaccine, but I might be the 10 millionth person. Like, so after you've given it to 10 million, 20 million, 30 million people, and maybe a year or two has passed, I might consider it. But truth is, I also remember this. Here's another interesting thing. Again, maybe I sound like a conspiracy theorist when I say this, but I told you guys months ago that after the election, I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly the vaccine news got really positive. I told you. Now I was half right and half wrong, right? Half right and half wrong. I was half wrong because the number of cases did go up, right? Every day they're like, oh, 100,000 new cases every day, and blah blah, right? So that part, I have to take an L on that. I was wrong in the sense that I didn't think the headlines would be that grim. But where I was right is that I'm sorry, people, but I just don't believe that it's a coincidence that Moderna and Pfizer are releasing this really positive information right after the election, right when we're trying to decide who our president's going to be, right in the middle of the contestedness of this post-election drama, and so. And I think and to some extent, it might be good for stability, right? Maybe it's going to go ahead and push Trump out of the White House. I told you I was never a big Biden guy, but I ain't in love with Trump. I don't care. Just I'm just telling you guys where the real opportunity is. The real opportunity doesn't come from the politicians. The real opportunity comes from you. It comes from your choices. So I will just say to you, that what's happening now is you're seeing this transition of power where they're trying to just go ahead and make things as stable as possible because stability leads to prosperity. So once the country decides that Biden is the president, then you're going to see a stabilized relationship with China. Not a healthy one. Not a healthy one. The Chinese are still robbing the Americans blind. Let's just be clear about that. That's why you may want to own stock in companies in China. So the Chinese are still robbing Americans blind, but at least there's stability and peace in that relationship, which is good for business. Biden's not going to have crazy tweets that are going to disrupt the markets, which makes it easy to predict kind of what's going to happen. Biden is more of a globalist, so you're going to see more open markets, things like that. It's going to be harmful to the workers, but it'll be beneficial to the corporations, which is why you want to own shares in these companies as their valuations go up. Biden is going to raise taxes on the rich. He's going to try to, but he has if he has a Republican majority in Congress, they're not going to allow the Senate's not going to allow him to pass through everything he wants to do. Now, if there's a blue wave, if things go funny, go Democratic in Georgia, then you could see the Democrats kind of pushing their whole agenda through, and their whole agenda, unfortunately, is kind of anti wealth a little bit, and which it kind of should be a little bit, to be honest with you. I kind of think that capitalism can get a little messy if you let it go too far. I just tell you guys how to pivot based on the environment. I'm not here to tell you what you should think about the environment. That's almost not incidental to any of this. Now, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Please do that. Now, Sandu says, how do you buy? Danu says, how do you buy Chinese stocks? Well, a lot of times you can buy Chinese stocks either by directly going through the companies. Maybe you can pick an Alibaba or something like that on Stash app. They've got a Chinese portfolio you can have that invests in Chinese companies. Also, there's a lot of explanation on stock market investing, things like that, in our program in the Black Business School, the blackstockmarketprogram.com. There's the URL on the screen. The first month is just $1. It's really good. There's a private blog where my students put questions and I answer every single question from every single student. Also, you have access to literally years of content I put together to make stock market investing really simple for the entire family. Third, you get free access to What Dr. Boyce is Buying, which is $1,000 program where I literally tell you what I'm adding to my portfolio, what I'm adding, right? So, and that's really powerful stuff. So feel free to go check it out. It's the blackstockmarketprogram.com. Let's see here. Well, let's see. I clicked on it and it said it is closed. What is closed, Gary? I don't know what you mean is closed. Um, so let's see here. All right. So what else is going on? The two big stories of the vaccine and the contested election. One other really good piece of information that I've seen on the horizon is they are talking about possibly pushing forward with a stimulus package. That could be one of the benefits of all the crazy headlines, because they know that the shutdowns are coming, and as a result of shutdowns coming, they could release some stimulus. If they release stimulus, that's going to be another boost to the market. All these things are going to boost the stock market, but I'm not really convinced that the politicians are going to really fight as hard to get a check in your hands as they would fight for, say, their own pay raise. If they were voting on their own pay raise, they'd be doing that, really fast. But for some reason, they can't decide to move forward with the stimulus, which has been probably one of the big disappointments in recent weeks. Maybe you could consider the election to be a disappointment, but it would depend on which, whether you're a Trump fan or a Biden fan. Maybe you might consider the virus to be something scary, or whatever. It is fine. I understand that, because it is real. But the big sort of easy miss that the politicians didn't grab onto is, just cut the check. Write a check. Like, go ahead and prop up, some of these businesses that need help. They're going under every single day because they don't have enough liquidity. It's like a human body that just dies because it doesn't have access to water. And if you've got water and you don't give that body water and it dies, then that's kind of a waste, because it's hard to bring. You can't bring somebody back to life once they're dead. And so a lot of these businesses, once they die, it's going to be really hard to replace these companies. And it's sad because it could have been prevented by a solid stimulus package. And I think that's where your government officials kind of let you down. But I encourage you, if you get in bed with the millionaires, if you get on the same boat with them, even if your boat is a tiny boat, if you're in the same water with them, then when their tide rises, your boat will lift too. That's a situation where the rising tide does lift all boats. Now, when Obama said the rising tide lifts all boats, he had it wrong. Maybe it's because of maybe it's because Obama, finance isn't his thing, right? He's a smart guy when it comes to the Constitution and politics, but maybe when it comes to wealth, he doesn't understand capitalism. In capitalism, the rising tide does not lift all boats when you're talking about owners and workers. When you're talking about how black people do versus white people, or how workers do compared to CEOs and investors, the rising tide doesn't lift all boats. Because unfortunately you get into what they call a zero sum game in economics, where one side wins, but that means the other side loses. Like if the Portland Trailblazers play against the LA Lakers, the Lakers and the Blazers can't both win the championship. They can't both win that game. One's going to win, the other one's going to win. So that relationship between the boss and the worker, unfortunately, sometimes becomes a zero sum sort of competitive situation, like the Lakers against the Trailblazers. But the best way, if you think the Lakers are going to win, the best way for you to win too is to put on a Lakers uniform, right? So what I mean by that is, if you're a worker and you work for a company and you know this company's making money hand over fist, then why not use some of your extra money to buy shares of stock in the company that's making so much money? Then when they get rich, you get rich. You're not getting mad because they're making money, because you're making money too. It's simple, simple. What they call is statistics. They call that correlation. It's a simple idea. It just means that we're in the same boat. So what I'm saying to you is that as the country moves forward, these politicians are probably never really going to do what they really need to do to take care of the American worker. It's only going to get worse. Let's just be clear. For all his, support among the liberals, Biden is not a bleeding heart liberal. He is not a Marxist socialist. He's not Antifa. He's not an anarchist. He's not somebody who's going to go out here and fight for workers' rights. Biden is a corporate guy. Biden is a centrist. Biden is a globalist. Biden is a guy that's going to go and allow these companies to make international deals that will make them billions of dollars. And unfortunately, what tends to happen is that American jobs disappear as a result of that. Wages go down as a result of that. He's not going to fight as hard to raise the minimum wage as he will fight to strengthen global trade. So what does that mean? That means that the money's going to trickle to the top. It's not going to trickle down. So you better connect your family's fate to the fate of the people at the top. That's my 2 cents. That's what I believe. And you can do that even if you have $10 in your pocket. I told you guys that on the All Black Agenda, which we have as a Black agenda for Black people that doesn't require any politician's permission. We don't have to talk to anybody about this. The allblackagenda.com, on that page where I have a list of resources, most of them free, on how you can pursue the Black agenda, there is something called the $5 a day investing plan. The $5 a day investing plan. I did a video on Financial Juneteenth TV that showed you how a person that invested $5 a day, who did this 30, 20, 10, 20, 30 years ago, would have about $30,000 after 10 years, $113,000 after 20 years, $339,000 after 30 years, and almost $1 million after 40 years. Everybody on this thread, everybody listening right now, If you made the decision for your family to be consistent and to invest, you could die and your family could be millionaire status. The choice is up to you. It is not up to the Democrats and Republicans. It is not up to your favorite rapper on TV. It is not up to whatever your mama or your daddy did before you were born. It is up to you. So it's up to you to decide: am I going to break cycles or am I going to continue cycles? Either way, you're making a choice. Even if you choose to do nothing, you're still making a choice. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Give me a yes in the chat if you plan to build wealth for your family. I hope that that's your plan. I hope that that's what you want to do. I hope that that's what you want to be. And yeah, Kimberly, you're right. That's what it is. It is it is compound interest. That's all it is. Albert Einstein said compound interest is the greatest force in the universe. So anyway, text the word "voice" to 31996 if you want to get text notifications when we go live. Feel free to do that. Let's see here. I'm looking more at some of my notes here to make sure we covered everything for this morning. Well, there one thing about the vaccine that's really interesting is, the U.S. So there's been a total of 1 million infections over the past week of the virus. And again, I wish they would explain, infection rates and how that links to previous testing levels, right? I know testing levels have gone up, and I know that most of the people that get the virus, they recover fine. And I've had people like Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wealth, who came in and said that if you keep your immune system strong, you're probably not going to be affected. You're not likely to be affected, even though, you know, it can happen to anybody, but it does take out more vulnerable individuals. And one interesting thing though is that there is the question of how long it's going to take for them to distribute the vaccine. I think that they're going to distribute it faster than we expect. I believe that they're going to get it out there very quickly because there's a race, there's a rush now. I mean, this is a paper chase. Like they're all seeking to make money from this. So Pfizer is competing with Moderna, and then you've also got the backdrop of all the other businesses that are going to make a ton of money just from the fact that the vaccine has become a national priority. So you've got the companies that are going to make money, vaccinating people. But then you got companies that'll make money from treating people who already have the virus. Remember, millions of people have the virus. So I don't think those people would be in line for the vaccine. I don't think so. Or maybe you would. Maybe you could take the vaccine. I guess you could. Like maybe it's like the flu vaccine where you could take that. But what's interesting is I remember reading how flu vaccines are not very good. Like they don't they're not very good at tracking or actually catching the strain of flu that comes out that season. And then you got people like companies like CVS that will make money administering various products that are connected to the vaccine. So what you're really kind of seeing is a fundamental shift in American culture, shifting toward, kind of a hypochondriac culture, right? Everything is about protecting yourself from germs. So companies like Clorox, end up making a ton of money selling things to make people feel safe, you know, and I think that's fine. It's just it is what it is. It's really a matter of reading the tea leaves and kind of knowing which direction the economy is going. So I think that there's a lot more money to be made. I think that so many of these companies in those industries are going to continue to do well, and they're going to do better than people expect. I also think the vaccine is going to come out faster than we expect because you can't underestimate the amount of ingenuity and energy that goes into capitalist greed. Like when capitalists start competing against each other, they get super efficient, super intelligent, super creative, and they really, really find a way to get things done. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that another company, maybe two or three other companies, are going to announce their own vaccines, and then you're just going to have a race. You're going to have a competition, where all these different vaccine companies are going to say, no, 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 take my vaccine. No, take my vaccine. No, take my vaccine. And it's going to kind of be a crazy thing. So I'm going to get out of here, guys, but I want to remind you, don't forget that tonight we have our Black Business Pitch Competition. We want to see Black businesses grow. So we decided to lend our platform, which has, we have almost 1 million subscribers on different YouTube channels, but we also have probably 4 or 5 million on Facebook and stuff like that. And so we decided that the best way we could help Black-owned businesses is to give them free advertising. So we created a show called Life's a Pitch with Lene Javette, where we allow Black-owned businesses to submit 90-second pitches for their business. And what we do on the show is we play the pitch, Let the audience watch. The audience gives feedback. We give feedback. We talk. We help them improve their pitch. So it's a great place to learn, and how to pitch your business, and also how to create a strong business. And then on top, and then at the end, everybody votes on which business is the winner for that night. So we do this every Monday night at 8 o'clock. It's called Life's a Pitch. And you can actually follow at financialjuneteenthtv.com. That's the URL right there on the screen, financialjuneteenthtv.com. And if you text the word voice to 31996, I can send you a text alert when the show begins so you can join us. So this is a great show, either if you have a Black-owned business, or if you think one day you want to start a business, or if you want to learn how to do better business, or if you want to support Black-owned businesses. So it's really for anybody who's part of this movement. There's a place for everybody, and we all have to work together to build this new economy. So feel free to go take a look. All right. So let me see here. Okay. So Kimberly says something about um, okay, Kimberly, don't be talking about your binary options business in here in the chat. Girl, you better get out of here. All right. So or you can hang out, but don't be in here spamming people and stuff. So no, you know what? Kimberly had to go. I didn't like that. I didn't like that message. Okay. Gates donated money to Moderna, says TMO. For that reason, I predict they will be the main vaccine producers. Yeah, that could be true. Who knows? Um, let's see here. They also say blacks are the sickest and the poorest. Stop allowing America to tell you who you are. Yeah, I agree, Tiffany. I'm not. I'm not really interested in the whole like "woe is me" narrative being the only narrative. I kind of think that what's missing is they tend to portray one side of blackness. They portray the ignorance and they ignore the intelligence. They portray the strugglenomics and they don't really talk much about the powernomics. But that's really what the goal is. Their goal is to maintain control of you by convincing you that you can have no power to improve your situation. So if I convince you that you can't do it on your own, then that means you need me, and that's what it is. B-side, very informative. Well, you are welcome. Thank you for the kind words. And that's it. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button. How many websites do you have? That's a good question, Zuberi. I don't know. Too many to mention. I do have boycewatkins.com. So there's some of my stuff that's there if you want to go take a look. And by the way, some of you were asking about stock option investing. We do have an options investing program in the Black Business School that's really, really good. So feel free to go to blackoptionsinvesting.com. I'm really super excited about a model that I'm putting together on how to sell call and put options in order to generate monthly income off your portfolio. I've been going through the theory, breaking it down. Because I'm, as a scholar, you see things different from the way like a financial analyst would see it, or the way a stockbroker would see it, or the way a standard investor would see it. Like I know the mathematical theory behind things like stock options and things like that, and I wanted to put together something that's simple, that's implementable. And I think I have something you might be interested in. I've been working on this for almost a year, and it's basically a step-by-step model that I use to actually generate income from my portfolio without actually having to sell any stock. So I'll probably announce that maybe early next year. But yeah, stock options is really a great extra tool to obtain as an investor. So you may want to go take a look. And then just generally speaking, if you want to just go to the Black Business School and talk to one of our conversational enrollment specialists about what you're seeking to do, what your personal family wealth plan is going to be, how we can help you, feel free to do that. So anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Put your hashtag B1 in the chat. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. And I'm going to give you guys some updates all throughout the day as I see new things happening on the market. I'll be down in my office, so I'll be able to stop and do some very basic, very quick updates. So take care, guys, and I will see you soon. And I hope you guys will come to the pitch competition tonight. It's really going to be really good. And I'm telling you, if you bring your kids and stuff like that, they're going to learn. And it's a lot of fun. It's very positive. Lene Javette, my co-host, is a wonderful woman. And it's just going to be an amazing experience. So feel free to go to financialjuneteenthtv.com. That's everything Black and freedom oriented. That's what Financial Juneteenth TV is all about. And you can text the word voice to 31996. That way I can text you when we go live instead of hoping that YouTube decides to send you a notification. So if you text the word voice to 31996, then I can control whether or not I can let you know what's going on. So anyway, take care, guys, and I love you, and I hope you have a great day. And for those of y'all that are out here getting money, congratulations. you're the smartest one in your family most likely, and now it's starting to show. These are the good days. These are the days that where you can turn and say, look, I told you, if we don't break cycles and do things different, we're going to be in the same situation. So I congratulate you for being the pioneers for your family. You're going to impact your family for the next 100 years. I guarantee it. Sharita says, what's the text alert? It's right there on the ticker, Sharita. It's text Boyce to 31996. So it's right there on the ticker, right below my little cartoon image. So I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.